Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video like up. The morning sun had barely risen over Genoa City, but trouble was already brewing behind its gleaming high-rises and impeccably decorated mansions. Beneath the surface of corporate deals and smiles at crimson lights, heartbreak, betrayal, and the weight of forbidden desire simmered like an unspoken storm. At the heart of today's upheaval? Kyle Abbott and Audra Charles, two souls too alike in ambition, yet dangerously close to crossing a line they couldn't uncross. It began subtly, innocent meetings, shared frustrations, secret glances across boardroom tables. Kyle had been feeling increasingly disconnected from Claire, who had immersed herself in Newman enterprises with a single-minded focus that left little room for romance. Meanwhile, Audra, never one to hide her intentions, had begun letting her walls down, haunted by Damian's murder and unsure whom she could trust. The tension between them, so expertly masked, finally cracked in the most unlikely of places. A deserted train car on the edge of town. Audra, shaken after receiving another threatening message connected to the murder investigation, found herself spiraling. And Kyle, ever the conflicted hero, stepped in, not as a lover, not yet, but as a friend offering comfort. Or so he thought. As the shadows lengthened in the train car and the world outside seemed to disappear, emotions overrode reason. Audra, normally composed and calculating, trembled, not from fear, but from vulnerability. She admitted to Kyle that lately, he had been the only person who made her feel safe. And that simple confession cracked his armor. In a moment that felt suspended in time, Kyle reached for her, at first, just a comforting touch. But the electricity between them was undeniable. Their lips met, igniting a passion that had long been threatening to surface. It wasn't planned. It wasn't smart. But it was real. And devastating. For a few breathless moments, nothing existed beyond them, not Claire, not Nate, not the truth of what they were risking. But reality has a way of crashing in when it's least welcome. As Kyle and Audra pulled away, the sound of Audra's phone buzzing jolted them both. A news alert lit up the screen. Damian's body had been officially identified. The investigation was intensifying. And with it, the moral weight of what they had just done. Kyle stepped back, guilt already flooding his features. "This can't happen again," he muttered, his voice hoarse. Audra nodded, but her eyes betrayed her, she wasn't so sure. What if this wasn't just a mistake? What if it was something more? Meanwhile, across town, Jack Abbott was reaching his own breaking point. His faith in Billy had always been shaky at best, but today it shattered completely. Jack had given Billy chance after chance to prove himself at Abbott Communications, but the younger Abbott's reckless moves, especially his decision to go behind Jack's back and fund Sally's design project, had tipped the scales. "You've turned our family's legacy into a playground." Jack fumed as he confronted Billy in the Jabot boardroom. Billy, unapologetic as always, fired back, "Maybe it's time for this company to evolve instead of living in your precious past." But Jack wasn't hearing it. He was done playing nice. He told Billy, in no uncertain terms, that funding would be cut off, oversight would be restored, and if he didn't like it, he could walk. The rift between them, already wide, was now a full-on chasm. And with Ashley still MIA, the Abbott family was on the brink of implosion. But perhaps no one was facing a greater storm than Sharon Newman. Still reeling from Nick's suspension and the horrifying possibility that he was being framed for Damian's murder, Sharon took matters into her own hands. She wasn't going to wait for the police to sort through lies and half-truths. If someone was setting Nick up, she was going to find out who, and why in her quest for answers, Sharon discovered something alarming. Key footage from a security system near the scene of the murder had mysteriously vanished. Not corrupted. Deleted. Purposefully. This wasn't just about clearing Nick's name anymore. This was about uncovering a much larger conspiracy, one that someone was willing to kill to protect. Sharon reached out to Chance, hoping his badge and integrity could help her dig deeper, but she knew the road ahead wouldn't be easy. Back at the Newman Tower, Victoria was growing suspicious. She had noticed Audra's frequent absences, her scattered behavior, and the way Kyle had seemed distracted. Victoria, no stranger to infidelity or secrets, had a gut feeling that something was brewing between them. And if there's one thing Victoria Newman couldn't stand, it was betrayal, especially from people she trusted. She summoned Audra to her office under the pretense of discussing Newman Media's PR strategy. But beneath the surface of that conversation was an interrogation wrapped in silk. Victoria probed, watching every flicker of discomfort on Audra's face. Audra played it cool, but cracks were beginning to show. The weight of guilt was starting to suffocate her. She left the office rattled, heading straight to the park where she hoped the fresh air would clear her mind. But there, she found Claire, Kyle's girlfriend, Victoria's niece, and a woman who had unknowingly just stepped into the middle of a storm. Claire, cheerful and unsuspecting, greeted Audra with warmth. "Have you seen Kyle? He said he'd meet me for lunch but didn't show." Audra froze. How could she look this woman in the eye? She managed a polite smile and shook her head. "I'm sure he's just caught up in work." But Claire's eyes narrowed. She wasn't stupid. Something was off. Later that night, Kyle returned home to find Claire waiting. She asked about his day. He lied. She kissed him. He flinched. It was subtle, but enough. Claire, hurt but not showing it, let it go for the moment. But in her heart, a seed of doubt had been planted. And seeds like that? They grow fast in Genoa City. Elsewhere, the drama only thickened. Sally Spectra, still riding the high of her funding approval, approached Billy with ideas that might revitalize the entire fashion sector of GC. But when she found out what Jack had done, cutting off the project before it even began, she saw red. She stormed into Jabot, demanding answers. Jack, in his usual calm tone, explained his decision was about protecting the family business, not punishing her personally. Sally, never one to back down, warned him, "If you get in the way of my dreams, Jack Abbott, don't be surprised when I turn them into your nightmares." Jack wasn't amused. But something in Sally's eyes made him hesitate. Was this just passion, or a promise of chaos to come? By the time the day ended, nothing in Genoa City was the same. Kyle sat alone in his car, parked outside the Abbott mansion, replaying the kiss over and over in his mind. He knew it meant more than just a mistake. It had stirred something inside him, something he didn't want to admit. He wanted to tell Claire. To be honest. But honesty would destroy her. Audra, back in her apartment, poured herself a drink and stared into the darkness. She couldn't shake the feeling that this moment would define everything that followed. The kiss. The regret. The truth. But she also felt a strange flicker of hope. Maybe this wasn't the end. Maybe it was the beginning of something forbidden. Something dangerous. And maybe, something real. The July 18th episode of The Young and the Restless brings fire and fallout in equal measure. Kyle and Audra's kiss may have been born from fear and confusion, but its emotional and romantic consequences are only beginning to surface. With Claire unknowingly standing at the center of this unfolding betrayal, and Victoria circling like a hawk, the truth won't stay hidden for long. Meanwhile, Jack and Billy's power struggle threatens to fracture the Abbott legacy, Sharon's quest for justice inches closer to uncovering a major cover-up, and Sally's ambition could turn her from a dreamer into a destroyer. One thing's for sure, in Genoa City, passion never comes without a price, and someone always pays it in full.